stripes if you ain't got a clue. Rose tinted shades, still see all blue. Sensitive to touch, but I'm still unfitted in all black, but you can see me. Playing it cool, just ain't that easy. Out of this world, but I can't find my star.
Welcome to episode 9 of How We Bounce Back. Holiday break is only 2 weeks away, but before that, we have some good laughs for you this evening. This man right here, my longtime cousin, like a brother to me, since we've been laying the smackdown on our own brothers in the basement, since skunking them in Madden every time we play, since late night online Halo parties, since we've been playing Manhunt on Jocelyn Drive. He's raised in Woodbridge, Virginia. He's a proud ODU grad, icon of Norfolk, and yowling his way through his young adult life. He's a talented graphic designer for the Philadelphia Union. He's developed creative work for major sports teams such as the Washington Capitals, the Washington Mystics, and the Washington Wizards. He designed artwork for his very own show, and he's designed artwork for his own Adidas shoe. Damn, he's designed everything. He runs his own podcast together with B-Dot, Mikey Edwards. Every day is Sunday. Check them out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. He is the icon of icons, and he will be main eventing WrestleMania 50 in 13 years from now. He is the one and only Bjorn BJ Rulloda. What's poppin', bro? Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
That was a crazy intro. Oh, my God. We just ran through memory lane in like 45 seconds right there at the same time as shouting me out through everything. That was impressive. Damn, that was the SmackDown one is hilarious. Oh no, we can get into that later. That's hilarious.
Yeah. We don't want to talk about when we 3D Jeff or 3 Brian through a couch or clothesline them and Jeff crying when he got my people's elbow from my skinny elbow. But yeah, we'll leave that for like the outtakes.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man, that was a great intro though. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Bro, do you have any pop culture icons that inspired you growing up in music or sports or any family and friends that you looked up to? No cap on the number of people you want to name. We got all the time for the shout outs.
Off the top of my head, in terms of pop culture, Kid Cudi is like at the top of my list, if not like top 2. Wow. Just like the way he started, obviously I love his music first and foremost. 2, he like the way he started off was just, he was always just a different vibe. Like was one of those, like, I don't care what people think, I'm gonna just do me, you know? And that's kind of how I see myself, like, cause I saw him and be successful with it. And then the way he just approaches his work, like I said, he's just very different and unique. He makes sure his stuff sticks out. And like also his music is just like, a lot of it's just relatable. Cause like, you know, it could be rap, hip hop, and like people are just trying to listen to like a cool beat and stuff like that. But like if you really listen to some of his lyrics, like it really hits home for me. And like an example for that is on his album with Kanye West, the song called Reborn. Like that song like hits home to me, and it's the simplest thing in the world. He just says like, I'm so reborn, like I'm moving forward. So it's like no matter where you are in life, like you got tomorrow to just like reset and like progress in life. And just the way he just like his TED Talks and interviews and everything, you know, he's just like so positive and just like he's been through it all. So I would definitely say him. Another person, obviously, I would say is like my brother. The reason, like, you know, obviously, but to like the people listening, like I just always looked up to my big brother. You know, like me and him are like 6 years apart, but like the way me and him interact, we could be like twins almost. You know, like we're just like always hand in hand. But at the same time, I always looked up to him. Like I'm a graphic designer today, like because of him. He showed me Photoshop. And I just never put it down, and I like fell in love with it ever since, you know? So I always like, I owe it to him that like I fell in love with this career. Yeah. So definitely them two off the top of my head for sure. And like you said, when you said you feel like you're in the room, hey, when we're all home, like for the holidays, man, that's exactly what we're going to do. So
yeah,
just chop it up.
Chop it up. Yeah. Looking forward to that. We'll talk about that in a second.
For sure.
And so we talked about this before the show started. You lived in Philadelphia for 2 years, far from family, close friends, your brother, of course, your sister. You know, I'm sure a lot of us watching can relate on moving to a new city or state, super far away. The highs, the lows, you know, times, just being in that new city. How was your experience there, and what was the number one favorite thing you loved about Philadelphia?
I mean, I think what I learned the most, obviously, was just like being on my like all alone. You know, that was the first time in my life. Like you said, I'm away from family, friends. Literally, like I didn't know a single person there, but like I just packed my bags and was like, I'm going. You know, like just took a leap of faith, and you know, it's one of the. It sounds so like corny, but like you know, just finding yourself. You know, finding happiness with just being yourself. You know, and I think that was the most important thing with going to Philly. And yeah, and it like shaped me who I am today. Like I think 2 years ago, like I definitely not the same person as I am now. Like I'm a troll a lot, like everyone knows that. But like at the end of the day, when it comes to like maturing up and like adulting and like all that, like I'm on top of my game now for sure. So I thank Philly and the city for like helping me shape me into the person I am. My favorite thing there, I love the nightlife there. Nightlife there is awesome.
Hey.
The nightlife is awesome because like it's everyone out there is like, I mean, you obviously know this, but like I've gone out in cities like DC especially where it's like mad cliquey, you know, like everyone just like really stuck up, and like I'm obviously not a fan of that. I kind of, you know, talk to everyone, like nice with everyone, you know, cool peoples. But like Philly, like there's no such thing as being like you can go out with a group, but at the end of the day, like everyone just talking to everyone. And I love like the socializing and like just how like young it is out there and how much like, you know, people just don't care and just socialize.
Yeah. Last thing I want to ask before we play our game, you know, this had to come up. Every day is Sunday. Yes, sir. Your podcast. Yow. Yeah, you B-Dot, Mikey Edwards, it's popping, bro. You guys are 3 seasons in. Feels like we're, like I said, in the same living room as you guys. You guys' laughs are actually pretty contagious. You know, sometimes y'all just start laughing. I was like zoned out in that specific scene, and y'all just start laughing. I'm just laughing, like, because y'all are laughing.
Yeah.
But
people tell me all the time, like my laugh is just ridiculous. So I like try to tone it down.
Yeah,
all of you try to tone it down.
All of you guys really click and mesh so well, and you know. I think all of us are all laughing our asses off at home. You know, I said this already on, you know, social media. I personally love the Halloween episode. You know, I really like the long distance friendships episode. That one was pretty like, you know, it's surprising because, you know, I think that's one that a lot of people can relate to because like as we get older, there's a lot of friends. We've all split apart. Everyone that we saw 10 years ago is all in different cities. So it's like, how do we keep up with them? That was an amazing episode of the more recent ones. Right? Yeah, for sure. And, you know, I want to ask with this, you know, how did the show start? And, you know, maybe these 2-part questions I got right here. How did the show start? And what's your favorite episode so far?
How did it start? Okay, so a year ago, me and Mikey were actually with different podcasts. So shout out Suburban Dudes. I was with Suburban Dudes, and then Mikey was with Frequency 103. We were both doing our own things in different podcasts, and then like both of them fell through. You know, obviously time goes on, stuff like that. And then quarantine happened, you know, the pandemic, everyone's home. This was the beginning of quarantine, no sports going on, no nothing, you know, everyone's losing their minds. So my brother like hit me and Mikey because like all 3 of us, you know, we're all really close. And my brother's like, yo, we should like do a podcast. Like people are like working 9 to 5s at home, have nothing to listen to, don't know what to do, no sports. Like, let's give them something. Let's give the people something to listen to. And they're like, the worst that could happen is like, we just stop because no one listens, or like we can't come up with topics, you know? So we're like, we got nothing to lose. Let's do it. And then we came up with the name is Everyday Sunday because during quarantine, it like in the beginning, like now, like, you know, it's kind of like everything's getting slowly back to normal. Like people go out a little bit, but like in the beginning when everyone was locked up, like every day felt the exact same, you know? So that's where the name Everyday Sunday came from. But yeah, that's how the show or the podcast came about. And then, you know, we were, and in the beginning, we're like, we're just going to do it for quarantine. That's the main reason. And then, like, if you want to call this post-quarantine or whatever it is now, like, we're still going. So we ain't going to stop, you know? Keep the pedal to the metal for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Season 4 coming soon.
Season 4, yeah, you guys are on it. I feel like you guys record the episode literally hours before. You guys are like got a well-oiled machine going on.
Yep.
Because you guys touch on very relevant topics of what's going on at that specific point in time.
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah. So like with the quarantine going on and like everything, like I don't think you answered this question yet, but is there a specific episode that you like, comes close to your heart, or is that your favorite so far?
It was from season 1, so I don't know if like many people listened to it back then. But this one is probably my favorite. Besides the friendship one, was we did like the whole like Black Lives Matter episode. And I don't know if you listened to that one, but just like hearing our takes on it, like me and my brother as like Filipinos, or like Mikey as a Black person, like just different takes. And like you said, like it's really how we talk in our podcast is like we're all just sitting down, just having conversation, like we don't really have anything written out. We just talk. So it was cool to like being really heart to heart in that episode, even though like you said, like usually our episodes are really comedic and funny and stuff, but like that one was like one where like it really hit home, and like we got down and dirty with it. And like at the end of the day, that episode helped me like help everyone else and raise over $12,000 for like Black Lives Matter, like stuff like that is just so that's easily my favorite episode.
Yeah, for sure. And it keeps us all level, keeps things grounded. It really wakes people up to their own, our own racial biases are, like I'm not gonna go over here and sugarcoat. I've had my own selfishness, racial biases, but people can learn and people can try to change and understand and just have compassion rather than criticize, and just because,
100%.
Especially with Black Lives Matter, especially just because their skin color is Black, doesn't mean like they should ever get like, just, just see how they're feeling rather than think otherwise in that moment. And
Exactly.
like if people really dig down, and like Rosemary being Hispanic is another, they are not treated the same way as others. Like I think us as Asians, Rosemary says this to me all the time. We're the model minority. Asians are the model minority. We can be treated as white. And like, I didn't even realize that. And like, that's my own selfishness. And like, but people can change. People can wake up to the situation. There's a lot of systemic equity that does need to happen. And like, I'm really glad that you guys really touch on that subject, because a lot of people stay quiet during that time too. And like a lot of Asians stay quiet during that time too. And, they were going to question, that specific time as well. I'm not saying no names, but it's just like, it's fine to stay quiet, but at least understand and have the compassion for others. That's it. And understand that there is like, maybe because the problems haven't happened to us, that doesn't mean that there's no problems in the world and it's fair for everybody. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's what a lot of privileged people like ourselves, like myself, have realized is like, because we've never experienced problems the way others have, doesn't mean it's the same fair shake for everybody else. And that's the biggest thing people need to wake up to, is that, okay, maybe the system is actually working against a certain group of people. It was working against Black people, it's working, against, low income, people, like even from like a income status standpoint, like it's all across like, it's targeted, and so, it really is amazing that you use your platform. You and your brother have you have amazing following through your podcast, through social media, through Twitch, through your gaming. And that's amazing that you did raise so much money to contribute for a big cause that's so needed, and that it just, like I said, goes back to, just because the problems aren't happening to us doesn't mean there's no problems. So just want all the viewers to know that. So
yeah, just like you said, just to summarize it, like it's just all about understanding. You could feel one thing one way and like just learn from it, understand, like it's just that simple.
and you can admit there's nothing wrong with admitting that you're wrong, you know, and like,
Exactly.
you know, you were looked at as a stronger person, as you know, you were looked at as, you know, someone that people can appreciate. The world is better when you can start admitting to faults, admitting that you're wrong, admitting that, okay, maybe what I did wasn't right, you know, and you know, like, I'm gonna say straight up, our own president can't even do that right now. So just, you know, admitting that you're
It's
wrong.
step one. It's
Step one. Just pushing the world forward. You know, it's like, you know, what, like, really, you're gonna live your life and feel like you're not gonna contribute to whoever else is gonna come after you. That's just not the right way to do it. You know, that's literally what selfishness. Yeah. Defines. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, amazing again that you had done that. I definitely, you know, need to tune into that episode. I did not tune into that episode at the time. A lot of things were going on at that time, but
For sure,
yeah. I know. Like I said, with how he bounced back every day is Sunday. Those episodes ain't going nowhere. It's on on demand.
On demand.
You can play it whenever you want.
Right, you can binge it all you want.
Binge it all you want, for sure, bro. All right, brother. Well, I don't want you to dodge this, but let's get this game started, you know.
I'm ready.
Yeah, we talked about this last night. You know, we're going to play something similar to what Gabby, the game that we played a few weeks ago. So I'm going to ask you 4 hard, somewhat compromising questions. If you simply answer the question directly, I'll take a shot. But if you decide to pass on the question and spare yourself, you know, from the compromising position, then you take the shot. So I just want to say, FYI, the answers, nobody, none. I don't know. Both of them, all of them are unacceptable answers.
Yeah.
You got to say answer it or pass. And the pass, pull that shot up real quick.
I already know what one of the questions is going to be, which is the funniest thing ever. I already know.
All right, we will see about that. All right.
Should I show you what I got to drink for this?
DJ, yes, please, absolutely show the audience what you have brought to us today.
All right. Well, first I got my orange juice. Obviously, I'm not showing I'm not showing the brand because we ain't sponsored out here yet. So we got the orange juice.
Yeah.
And then
that compensation for sure.
I solely bought this for this episode for this game. I had to get the hen dog. We got the hen dog.
He defaulted me, and he even left it just for this is how you know this man has a keen for show business. He left it in the brown paper bag before pulling it out.
I got to. I had to.
All right, for sure. So I'm gonna show you what I got. I got called out by K-Lou actually a couple weeks ago. He knew I was gonna bring out the Henny. I don't want to be predictable like that, but I did something different. Over here I got this DiSorno. You know, I got this DiSorno Amaretto. Yeah. So this one right here. This one, Rosemary was making fun of me because it's an Italian drink, and she said it's liqueur, and you can't drink it alone. It's like if you're drinking Aperol Spritz, and I'm like, why are you making me feel stupid, fiance? Like, I know, and I literally had to Google it, and it said you can drink it by yourself. So that's
there you go.
Right, yeah.
Hey, Google never lies. Google
never lies for sure.
Oh, that's great.
Question number 1: who's better, mom or dad?
Like, period? Who's better?
Yeah, that's simple.
Oh no! You want to get
your dad be liking the how he bounced back Facebook posts. Just FYI, he might be watching.
Oh man, yeah, I got to drink to this. I can't answer that. You know, they're both. You know, they're both special in their own way. You know, mom is like, you know, the leader in the house. She always been, you know, always get us right and make sure we're all like good at home. Obviously my dad does that too, but then my dad's more of like, you know, the laid back, chill, me and him talk sports type of person. So like, you know, it's a perfect balance of the two. So I can't pick one because it's not complete without the other one. So
absolutely. Well said.
I gotta cheers to the mom and dad for this one.
Hey, you know, they about to hug you, give you 2 years free rent, even extra.
Yep. Oh man, I haven't drank in a minute. Whew.
Amazing answer. All right. Question number 2. Rank these people in order of your most favorite. Champ, Mikey Edwards, or Ryan Mason?
Oh man. Oh, shout out Champa first and foremost. Shout out Champa, Player One Podcast. Shout out Mikey, who I do my podcast with, and then Ryan's just been like my brother since freaking like high school. So I'm actually into this one, and they're all gonna understand why this is the order. I'm gonna go with 1. I gotta go with Ryan. Like I said, he's been my brother since high school. Me and him lived together all throughout college. So like, me and him been through it all. We still keep up to this day. He's literally down the street from me right now. Me and him always keep in touch. So yeah, I gotta go with Ryan first. Second, I gotta go with my boy Champa. All 3 of these are my brothers. First of all, I'm gonna say that every time. But Champa, me, him, and Ryan all lived together for a little bit. So me and Champa me and him go far back too, as to college. Me and him went to high school together, but I didn't know him back then. Me and him didn't get cool until college. And then, like I said, we just been keeping up. Me and him talk every day. So I've met 2. And then 3, I'm going to say Mikey. Like, he's also my brother, but me and him didn't start getting close until like a couple years ago. Me and him worked together in college, but like, it wasn't where it is now, where I can actually call him my brother. So I'm ranking those 3 basically in terms of timelines of who I've known the longest.
I think they would understand that. Yeah, that's fair.
For sure.
That's fair. That respect. Like, I think any friendship would. I think if they were to rank their friends and you were in there too, it's based on timeline. That's amazing. Like, to have friends for so long, that's a rare thing, man. That's a rare thing. A lot of people go to college and they just shut out all of their high school friends.
Yep.
And middle school friends. So we're very lucky that we can really say that we've had friends for like literally over 15 years, 20 years, who knows how long we can go back. But yeah, that's, I think they would respect that, but
yeah, I'd hope so. And also, I just had to answer it so you could drink with me.
Hey, Champ, you're number 2, but you're always number 1 in my heart, bro.
Hey.
And when we get to Comedy Club here in LA, I'll be there with you, brother. Cheers.
Yeah, I need to come back out West Coast and visit both of y'all for sure.
Woo! You can definitely drink this by itself because it's bites.
Oh man, that's great.
Awesome. Question number 3. Describe a time where you wanted to legit, angrily give your brother the stone cold stunner.
Oh man, I wanted to give him the stunner.
You were so angry. It's like almost like you really wanted to, like, all right, I need to stun you right now. I need to put you down. When were you that angry?
I honestly don't think I've been that, like you said, me and him are just so close. I don't think I've been that mad to him to a point where I wanted to strangle him in like recent time. When I was a kid, oh man, I tried it all the time, but he would do the thing where he just puts his hand to my forehead and I can't reach him. But ever since that, honestly, I can't answer that. I really can't, because like you said, like me and him are just so close. Like I've never really wanted to just strangle him. But since I can't answer it, I'll take the fault and take it. All
right. I was like trying to question my head. Should he take the shot or should he not?
I'm gonna take it.
Thank you for deciding.
I got you. Plus, I just want to drink a little bit too.
Yes, sir. It is Thirsty Thursday right now. I know this episode airs on Wednesday, but pre-recorded on the Thursday.
Whew. Oh man, my insides are warm.
Yeah. Hey, Kuya B. Brian is getting a lot of love in this episode right now. So shout out to you. Shout out to you, Kuya. Yep. The last question number 4. Describe a time when you knew you and your sister were arguing about something big, but you knew she was right about it, but you didn't want to admit it.
This is kind of the same thing. I can't. Cause like when we were kids, like it happened all the time, and like when you're kids, it's just like I'm never taking this L. I'm gonna take this to the grave, With the parents, like like both of you are just fighting off the top of your lungs, and like you're wrong, but you just gotta keep going with it. But I'm sorry, I can't answer that one either, because I can't think of, and like I think it's just a thing. It's with like my brother and sisters, like if there is an argument, it's never big, you know. It's like really minuscule, or like I said, you're kids and you're arguing at the time, and then like less than 10 minutes later, like we're hugging it out and we're all good and we all love each other at the end of the day.
Amazing. That was beautiful, but I think you have to take a shot right there.
Yeah, I think was that the last one? Because you didn't do the one that I thought you were gonna say.
Oh no! Please do. Yeah, that was the last one. So please share.
I thought you made me pick between my mom and dad. I thought you were gonna make me pick between my brother and sister.
Oh nah, I would not do that. Yeah, there you like Bernie coming home from Vegas and literally about to spear you through the wall, bro.
Yeah. Oh, she 100% would. She 100% would. I'm still terrified of her.
Yeah.
Shout out to sis, man. Shout out to sis.
All right, brother, let's get into the deeper questions. The first question I want to ask, can you describe a time where you came to a life crossroads and felt pressure from either your parents or peers to go towards a career direction that you weren't fond of?
When I graduated from college, like I'll just give a quick rundown real quick because it leads into this. Graduated from college, and like James said at the beginning of the episode, like I was with the DC sports teams, Monumental Sports Entertainment. I was interning them for like a year. I don't want to get too deep in that, but I did that for a year, and then I thought they said they would have an opening hopefully, and then give me a job. And then after like the whole year of interning, they were like, we don't have a spot, like we love you, but like we have to let you go, you know, it's a business. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'm gonna just get a job like somewhere else and like figure it out. But like, I just love sports. You know, we've been talking about sports a lot this episode, and I just have a love for it. You know, like when I create and design sports related things, it doesn't feel like a job to me. You know, like I love it. And like I say all the time, if you're working 8 hours a day, 9 to 5, if you love what you do, then like it's not a job. You're getting paid to do what you love. So I was always like, sports. I'm staying in sports. That's why I interned. And this internship was after college, you know, which isn't normal at all. I did a minor setback because I'm like, this will pay off in the end. And then, you know, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months pass, and like I still don't have a job. And I'm like, oh man, like, and like this is where like, you know, the pressure is getting to me, and I'm like, I'm at home, you know, I'm living with my parents. Thank you for my parents for like letting me stay at home during these rough times. But like, I'm not bringing any money on the table. I'm sitting at home playing, you know, Fortnite every day. Like, you know, I'm trying to freelance and, you know, pick up stuff here and there. But like, you know, at the end of the day, like I would sleep every day and just be like, man, like I don't have a job. Like nothing's lining up. Like what is going on, you know? And like, I'm not gassing myself up, but I'm good at what I do, you know? And like, it's just so hard. And I know a lot of people go through it when they graduate college, you know, everyone says it. It's hard to pick up a job, you know, it's hard to pick up a kid that has no experience in something and just believe in them, you know? So I was so like, I'm going to stay in the sports field. And like, when those like 4 or 5 months hit, I'm like, damn, like no one's picking me up, you know, like I don't have the credentials. I don't have the portfolio for this. You know I can do it. I know I could do it. But when you apply somewhere, you know, they look at your portfolio and they're like, we don't know if we could trust you, you know, because you're fresh out of college. We don't know if we could trust you. So I'm like, man, like I just need a job at this point. Like I'm like itching over here. Like I need money. Like I need some type of income, you know. And then I just felt so much pressure because like my friends, I already graduated college a year later than I was supposed to. I was 5 years. Like, you know, a lot of my friends were 4. I already felt a year behind. And then coming home, another 2 years passed. I'm like, damn, like I'm really behind. And now I'm comparing myself to like my friends' salaries, my friends' jobs. And I'm like, man, I'm at home without a job, you know, living with my parents. Meanwhile, my friends have roommates living, you know, in Nova, you know, have like a 9 to 5 and all this. And I just felt like I was just like out of the loop, you know, and like I was just lost at this time. I was in like a long relationship that ended, you know, and I'm just like damn near rock bottom for me, you know, and I'm just like, I just felt like, I'm home with my parents, but I just felt like really I didn't know what to do with my life and my career. And I just felt so much pressure that I was like, I need to get out of like the sports field and like just get a job, I need some type of income coming. So then that's when I started applying to like other places, like stuff I don't even care. Like I remember going to it was somewhere in DC, and it was like for some like art drama thing, like those acts where they do like Shakespeare and stuff like that, and I would design like their flyers and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, like I don't even like in my head, you go in there trying to get the job, and like they're like, why do you think we should hire you? And I'm like, oh, like I really think I'm good for this, blah blah. Back of my head, I'm like, yo, I just need your money. Like I just need money.
Yeah. We all do.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, in the back of my head, I'm like, I do not care for y'all. I'll make myself look cool for my own portfolio. I'm a finesse it, so like y'all think it's good, and like, that's what I was thinking in the back of my head. But when you tell them, how the thing is, how do you benefit them? So I'm telling them like, look at my portfolio, look at my drawings. Like, I can do what you guys want me to do. And this was like, it was only for like, it was below like what I should be making. But I'm like I said, like I just need money. And I leave that, and I felt really confident because like I met a lot of people. Like, when you're trying to get hired, you meet up with one person, then like the manager, then the boss. So like I met everyone, and I'm like, oh, this is in the bag. Like I went home, told my mom, I'm like, yo, I'm finally gonna get bread. Like it's in DC, so I can still stay home, like, but it's not sports, So in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't really want this, but to get any type of money, I'm even telling my friends I'm getting a job, all this. Like 2 weeks passed, and then I didn't even get that. Damn. So I didn't even get that, and I'm like, man, like this is just ridiculous now. And then another crazier one was that I forgot to mention was like I applied for the Seattle Mariners, the MLB team. Mm-hmm. I got through. They interviewed over 500 people. I was in the top 10. So I'm telling my mom, I'm like, it's in the bag. I'm like, it's in the bag. I'm getting this, I'm getting this. She goes off and like tells like her friends and everything, I'm moving to Seattle. I'm like, Mom, like, yeah. I'm like, Mom, I don't even have the job yet. Like, you can't be like, I'm too superstitious. Like, you can't be
a little bit of a
jinx.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I didn't get that either. And I'm like, oh man, like this is just, and like to go back to like when I was saying, like when I didn't have a job and like did all this, like to cope myself with, being alone without money, all this, like I was just going out every weekend. I would just go out DC every weekend to cope with like, my misery. I'm like, yo, whatever. I'm gonna just go on DC with my friends in the weekends and just drink it off.
Totally understandable.
Just drink it off. And I hit a point where I literally hit like zero in my bank account. Like I remember I was visiting my brother in Virginia Beach, and we went out to like eat somewhere, and like I swiped my card in and like it didn't go through. And I'm like, oh man, like I literally don't have money, don't have a job. And I'm like, yeah, this is not it. And like, it was terrible. Cause like, I feel like I wasn't doing anything wrong. That's the worst part about it. Cause like, it's one of those situations you're like, what else can I do? Mm-hmm. And this happened. I was like down to my last dollar. Cause I remember this was in October, like 2 years ago, I think. And then I applied to this job for Philadelphia Union in Philly, and it was for soccer. Like I didn't even keep up with MLS at the time, but I obviously know soccer. I know a lot of sports, and this was like my Hail Mary. This was like the last one. I'm like, dude, if I don't get this one, then like I literally have no clue what I would be doing right now. I probably wouldn't even be a graphic designer right now, And I get the call, and like the dude was like awesome. He loved all my work, and then before you know it, I got the job. And that was like, that's why I love Philadelphia Union. I love my job now and everything, but like just that those like 7 months was just miserable. I just felt alone, no money, no job, no income, no girl, like nothing was just aligning at this time. And then to just like pick up my bag once I get the job, like people ask me all the time, they're like, why'd you go to Philly? Like, why would you like go up there? I'm like, I had no choice. I literally did have a choice. Like I had to pack my bag.
Opportunity. Yeah.
Exactly. They gave me the opportunity. Like literally, like my mom, like I keep saying I love my parents. My mom had to front me money to even afford to go up there. Like, I'm like, yo, I'll pay. I literally will pay you back in the long run. Like, but she was like, I'll give you this, you know, to go up there and like you can like, you know, start your life, start your career. So like that's why, like I say, I have so much praise for who I work for, because they, you know, they put so much trust in me from the jump when I didn't even have a portfolio or anything to really show for it. And then like I've been saying, like, I love my parents for letting me stay at home during that time interning and that time without a job to just, you know, believe in me. So I think that was really, you know, the lowest of the lows I was definitely at, where I felt like my career direction was going to change in terms of like leaving sports to do like, you know, like I said, like the Shakespeare, you know, like dance, whatever stuff. And like, I try to go in a different direction. That's the craziest part about it. Is I try to go in a different direction because I didn't have a choice at this point. But then, you know, like stars align, everything happens for a reason. And before you know it, I'm back in the sports field.
Yeah. And like, honestly, bro, like, you exhausted all efforts, right? During that time, like you really like felt like, okay, like we need, like, I have a passion in sports, but now it's looking for financial security. And like, you were going to risk passion for financial security. A lot of people do that in this life, right? You know, everyone that I've done that. Yeah. I've done it. So like, like glad that you found your way back into sports, be it and not be the sports that you grew up and watching, and what the case that might be, but like it's still sports,
made new love
right?
for it.
Yeah, it made new love for it, made you respect for it. And the one thing that you did that a lot of people don't understand, it's a business where when you're interviewing, it's not about particularly you, it's about the company. And like that's why you are and you can get into this later, I might be teasing out, like you might be starting your own, we all are so want to start our own endeavors, but like when you're interviewing for another company, you got to tailor yourself to that company, right? And I feel like
the business,
right? You're adjusting to what they want, their needs, even as that Shakespeare role, like you feel like, okay, I don't know why, maybe they had another candidate, and so forth. And it's just, sometimes luck doesn't play its part, but when you see a company at least take the chance on you ever since you went through that 7 months of just turmoil, it's just like you kind of like, hey, you're giving me the opportunity. I'm gonna hold up my end too, and like I'm gonna I happens to me out here too in LA. Like, you listen, you treat me well, I'll treat you well too. So and
exactly.
that's why you respect. You're wearing the shirt now, Philadelphia Union. You really. It's not even like I'm your company man. It's like okay, now we can have at least, sort of a friendship here. I'll hold you down. We're going to work together. I'll be a team player. It's about a team, right? I think with sports, it teaches us one intangible that, you don't have to play athletic or, like sort of any that kind of that leisure. If you're a team player, man, that can go far. You see all kinds of success. And that's even if you're a company man or if you're entrepreneur and start your own endeavor, you need a team. And like, you being that team guy, and being, appreciative of the process, like, getting to that spot where you are with the Philadelphia Union, like you're still there. You moved home from Philly and still stuck with them. It's not a time to like leave a company during the middle of a pandemic right now.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really tested on loyalty, right? So like this is the first time I heard this story, bro. And like, I'm really, really, taken aback and really impressed that you hung in there during those 7 months of turmoil. It's fine to feel that way. Olivia said in last week's episode, you got to hit a low to get to a high, And
I tell everyone this. I tell everyone it's a minor setback for a major comeback. Like I say that line a lot, but it's the realest thing. Like, because like you said, you got to go through some lows to get to some highs. Like you gotta go through the trenches and see what it's like, and it gives you a new passion and to work harder for it. For sure.
That brings me to my next question. There's also expectations. I think like a lot of families, it doesn't matter what this can be a thing with Filipino families, but I'm sure it can happen with any families, whether you're white, you're black, you're Hispanic, there's there's a generational divide, like, you know, and like there's like what happened in the 70s, what happened in the 80s, what happened in the 90s. It's not the same what happened in the 2000s, 2010s, and now 2020, you know. But I want to ask, can you describe how you deal with the expectation of making your parents proud, knowing that they have potentially different expectations than you have right now? And, you know, what about making yourself proud? How do you balance those two?
I think they definitely go hand in hand for sure. Dealing with like making my parents proud for sure. Like in the beginning, you know, this, like us growing up, they, you know, our parents, like the moms are all nurses, the dads were in the military, you know, that's almost all of them. And like they expected us, you know, to be lawyers, nurses, doctors, all that stuff. And like once we got older, you know, they were starting to notice that like almost all of us weren't taking that route. You know, there were some of us that were, but for the most part, a lot of us weren't. And um, it was a thing where I think they're just proud of me in the sense of my parents are proud of me. Like if I just focus on my goals, you know, I think that was what was always a thing. But when I was a kid, I thought it was always, if I'm not a doctor, like my parents are going to like, you know, are going to hate what I do for a living. But like as I got older, I realized, you know, my parents put a lot of trust into me, my brother, sister, let us do what we want to do, you know, like we talked like before the episode, or just always like we talked about on the phone before, like our parents, you know, came from the Philippines, were like nurses, you know, like the made it in America, you know, like came to America for the dream, you know. And then that's a lot to live by, you know. Like dude, like me like getting older, you know, you don't realize it when you're a kid, but like as you get older, you're like, man, like my parents did all this, like I gotta make them proud, you know. Like so a lot of what I do and like how I hold my own is like for my parents. I don't care if I'm 26, I'm still doing it for them, you know. And like we joke about it all the time, and we're like, me and my brother and sister, like, yo, we're gonna buy you guys a house, like you, like when we get older, like all this stuff. Like we joke around, but like I'm like serious about it, you know, because like we owe it all to them. And just going back, it's, you know, I think they're just proud of me having a goal, having like, and like, and I'm achieving them, and like, you know, I'm progressing as a person. And I think as they see the growth in me, and as long as I have my eye on the goal, then they're proud of me at the end of the day. So I think that intertwines, because as long as I'm focused and they see that I'm focused, then hey, everything's good.
Hey man, shout out to Neon Louis, shout out to Neon Bernard. You know, it doesn't need to be, you know, a route where we feel uncomfortable. You know, you guys are going your own direction where you feel like you're happy and successful at the same time. I know Neon Louis been hip to that since so long, bro. And like the fact that you guys know, and we talked about this, like you said, you know, some like as Filipino kids here, first gen here in America, and maybe a lot of other people, you know, we are actually a little bit spoiled because coming from another country into the United States, we will never amount to that. I'm sure we can try, but like in the day and age that they tried that in 1980s, 1970s, so in that time frame, late 70s, early 80s, to come here in a time where it was probably a very still racist America, you know, and like treated people in different type of way if you were not white, you know, it's a very, very difficult task. And for them to come there, for your mom to come here as, you know, a Filipino woman, you know, and really like, you know, come from, and like, I know what neighborhood she come from. Same neighborhood for my mom, you know, Brembo in the Philippines, you know, outside of Makati, you know, to come all the way here, you know, I know, for the viewers that don't know that, you know, Bjorn's mom and my mom are best friends growing up. They came here together. They lived in New Mexico at first, and New Mexico, don't tell me that's the most diverse place that you ever seen. You know, they even hung out. My mom told me they hung out in Midland, Texas. Like, come on now. And then they went to like Washington D.C. Like, how can you imagine us trying to go that far from like say America was not the land of opportunity, and like somehow like XX country was land of opportunity. We had to go there and then find the city and like No, like that's not like we're not wired to do that, but our parents
Mm-hmm.
were, they
Mm-hmm.
that is like some insurmountable like challenge and task to like come here, find a life of their own, raise a family. Their dream is to raise kids that they love and find their own dreams in this land of dreams, this land of
Mm-hmm.
promise, this land of opportunity. So, I am so my heart's warm to hear that you, Bernadette, Queen Brian, the way we live in life is to give back to our parents. That's all they could ever
Always.
dream of. And I think that's what everyone in this audience that is watching right now is to give back to the parents the same way they have done for us. In this generation, for the kids that grew up in the 90s to 2000s, the 2010s, we all are spoiled. We are all spoiled
Yeah,
by parents. And I know there's a lot of families that don't have it the way they should. There's a lot of we're privileged, and there's a lot of underprivileged families. But
yeah.
it
That's why
is.
I don't try to like. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I don't mean
Please
to
do.
like. I don't try to like complain about anything because, like you said, like their journey is just nutty. It's absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. So like I'm only going like 3 hours up the street, and they went cross like from the Philippines to the United States. So like I can't even complain about what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
like you said, I always just date back to them and like realize what they went through, and just I'm always thankful, and I just always gotta make them proud and give back at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then honestly, if you are listening to this episode right now, you are privileged. The fact that you're holding an iPhone or watching through your laptop, or you're the fact that you even have electricity, you're privileged right now. And so, there's a lot of people that are going through a lot right now. And like, be it like, there's a lot of underprivileged families, like, especially that, could use all of our support. Um, you know, Generations before us, it was harder. So you really got to respect the generations before us. Even if we do, and, I don't mean to even take it this far, but we do have all our different political views and whatnot. We all got to respect the generations before us, because they really
Always.
had a different journey, a difficult journey, less technology, less resources, less kind of, like they didn't have no podcast to listen on their iPhone or on their laptop to like kind of like help them, or like shape them. They did it on their own. So, you really giving that, paying the respects, the dues to Niang Louie, your mom, Uncle Bernard, your dad, like that. That's something that we all live for. It's a dream, and I know,
For sure.
I have no doubt that with what you're describing, you're going to be successful at it.
Thank you.
Yeah. And with that, we all have dreams, bro. So I want to ask, right now we're talking about graphic design. You're there, but you're with Philadelphia Union. We talked about where else you could be, but describe if you are chasing your dreams right now, or are you on a different path? But let's look back, or let's look at right now. What are you most proud of today?
I think I would just say, like, in terms of like my career, what I'm most proud of is like the work I put out. Like you said in the beginning, like it was a dream to design my own like Adidas shoe for the team, and like for it to be released publicly, like on Adidas.com, like a normal shoe, but like I designed it, like, and like me, Jeff, and like you a little bit, but like my brother, like we were into shoes, growing up, like love shoes. So like, it was literally a dream when I'm a kid. I'm like, I'm drawing fake shoes, different colors, all this stuff, like doing it on the computer, like playing around. I'm like, one day, like, who knows, like it would be a dream to like, design my own shoe and get it like produced. And like, but like literally a year ago, I designed an Adidas shoe, and that was a dream come true. And I'm like, damn, I did this in like my first year as like in this career. Like, what is the next 80 years gonna hold for me? I already knocked one off the bucket list in the first year. Yeah, so that was definitely like, that was for sure like my biggest accomplishment that I've done yet. Like, not even just for this team, just in general, and like as being a designer for sure. And like you said, like how I achieved it so early. You set goals for yourself to achieve them. Once you achieve them, what do? You make more goals, and then you achieve those, and then it's just never ending. You, like you said, like we're chasing dreams. We're also chasing goals to make more goals. So then by the end of the day, you look at your accolades and be like, yeah, I did all of this. You're not just chasing, one dream. To me, you're chasing multiple goals.
Absolutely. And like, with those goals, like you just said, like if it's one goal, you're going to set that next one higher. It's like you're challenging yourself. So it's challenging. It can be, it can be daunting if you're not like, feel like you're behind that goal for so long, but that's what the fun of life is. Once you get to that, it's going to be so much more rewarding, like making that shoot like you did. So,
yeah. And it's like you said too, like, in terms of like chasing dreams, that was one of like my dreams that I already accomplished. But like obviously, like I said, you keep setting yourself goals, and we talked about it before, like we recorded. But like I want to be with like an NBA team, like I just grew up watching basketball. Like I said, I interned for the Wizards, and like it's just a dream of mine to design for an NBA team. It's not like my long-term goal. Like the second I do this, like, oh, I'm done. Like I can retire here and stuff like that. No, it's just like a check mark on my list, like I need to work for an NBA team. I got to, it's in my blood. I have to. And then after that, that's going to come sometime. But like my long-term goal is I want to, start my own agency, be my own boss. I freelance on the side right now, it's fun. Make, like solid money like that on the side. But like, I want to be a full-time like freelancer and have my own agency. That's the long-term goal for sure.
Amazing. Yeah, bro. Let me call Rob Pelinka real quick. I think there's an open position right now. I think there's a team called the Lakers, so we'll see.
Your college open? I'm covered if that's the case.
Yeah, we got you. There's two bedroom over here, bro. It's open.
Oh, we're good. We're good
then. For sure, brother. Well, I know you shed a lot of light right there with some advice, but I want to see if you can dissect that a little bit further. If there's, I say this every single episode, I'm sure you've heard some of this, but if there's one big piece of advice you could tell the audience, what will it be?
Biggest advice. I'm gonna just double down what we said earlier. Honestly, like minor setbacks for major comebacks. Like it's what we talked about. You will go through some rough times, but you just gotta make sure you can get through them. It's not how you get through them, but you just need to, like, no matter what it takes, get through those obstacles. And then by the end of the day, like, it's going to be rough during those times, whatever it is, what anyone's going through, if it's your career, relationship, life, anything in life, just make sure you get through that obstacle in whatever way, stay at your own pace. And then as long as you get past that, man, the sky's the limit after that. And another one on top of that, since I just said at your own pace, I would say is, this is actually a super big advice too, is do not compare your life to another person's. Everyone lives their life at their own pace. You are your own main character in your own movie. You decide what happens next. Like your movie doesn't matter compared to another movie, They're both two different story plots, two different genres, At the end of the day, you're on your own pace. Like I said, when I was already a year, I graduated in 5 years. It took me 3 years to get a job. And I kept looking over my shoulder, like, what are my friends doing? Like, what are my friends doing? Like, you just gotta focus on yourself. You gotta stop comparing yourself to what other people are doing and just focus on your own well-being. And you said it before, we're living in like the social media world. It's that era, and it's hard to get away from seeing other people's accomplishments, what other people are going through, because every time someone achieves something, it's posted. And like I said, when I was like without a job and seeing people like, oh, first car, oh, bought a house, oh, and I'm just like, damn, like I don't even have a job, like I don't have anything going for me, And it's like I said, you just focus on yourself. Don't look at what other people are doing. If anything, use it to drive you to get to your goals, man.
It's more fuel. It's more. Yeah. It's even more of the stronger fuel in the engine. So love it.
Slow and steady wins the race for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, my cuzzo. That was an amazing session that we had right there. But before we sign off, I want to ask one last question. if you were wrestling at WrestleMania. No, not WrestleMania 50. Okay, I was totally joking with that. But like, if you're wrestling at WrestleMania, if it's 37 next year or 38 or wherever, right? You're in the main event at WrestleMania. Vince McMahon book you there. And he said, "Who would your dream opponent be? Who would you pick?"
Damn, dream opponent. Oh man, okay, I have two answers. If I want to sell tickets and like get it to be the highest rated, we're obviously getting The Rock, like without a doubt. The Rock is, and I know you and The Rock, obviously growing up, I know you love The Rock.
I cried when Hulk Hogan ran over him in the ambulance.
Oh my god,
I cried.
James and The Rock are another level, so let me not get too deep into that. But like on a more like WWE perspective, like I would probably go with Shawn Michaels. He is just like as like an actual like entertainer and like professional wrestler, he is
best
so good
in-ring
at what he
performer.
does.
Yes, best in-ring performer.
And sell anything. People don't realize to this day his special, he's not really hitting them. He's just slapping his thigh, you know? Like people don't realize he's not even like hitting the people, and he's just that good at his job that he's making it look so real, you know? And I think me and him as like little people, like I might swanton bomb him, you know, like he might get a little crazy in the ring.
It's a high flying match, man. We can get the ladders out. Yeah.
Like when we were young and I used to like frog splash all y'all.
No, I think you were RVD at that time, but yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
I pick Shawn Michaels. He would be a good fight.
Well, bro, thank you again for coming on to the show. I do want to say this is my outro, so I'm going to go in on this, but even more grateful for you for helping a lot with the launch of How We Bounce Back. I appreciate you always, Cuzzo, like you said. And Kuya Brian said, we might not be out of blood related, but we are closer than most cousins, nearly siblings since Jocelyn Trotter Court. I know you got so many projects going on with your podcast. Every day is Sunday. To tune in, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You're helping people launch their own businesses. Molson out there in Arizona. I know you be cooking something, so looking forward to that. You don't gotta tell us right now and spoil the formula, but we're looking forward to whatever you got to come, bro. You got that entrepreneur hat on all the time. But bro, keep elevating yourself at work. I love you, brother. I'll see you at MGM National Harbor in a few weeks and maybe on Christmas Day. So thank you again.
Thanks. Yes, I would just like to say again, James, thank you for letting me get a little feature on this podcast. It was a great time talking to you. And like you said, you haven't heard, that story about like, my coming up after that, like my job, career path, like, cause it's not something I go around telling everyone, but if it's anyone I tell publicly, like, it's going to be you, like my brother, it's just a genuine talk with me and you. And I think it's a good conversation for people that are, like I said, finishing college or just like, at a standstill in life, especially with the pandemic going on. It's just a good, heartfelt story to hear, like, like 2020 as a whole has, but, like I said, we're all going to overcome. Keep your eye on the prize, set some goals and achieve them, man, at the end of the day. So that's all that matters. But yeah, thank you again, James, for this.
Yes, sir. Amen. I got to do this one time for them. Yow.
Yow.
Yow. Tune in next week for a very unique episode where the roles are reversed. My fiance, Rosemary, will be the host and will interview me. I will open up on my depression my first year in LA, especially after walking out on my first job out here. I will also talk about the saddest time in my life when the most important person in my life passed away. And lastly, Rosemary might challenge me on our relationship. Thank you, everyone, for staying on. It's almost holiday break, so stop procrastinating and go get gifts for your family and keep marching towards closing out this year strong. Everyone, smiles up, be the best you every damn day. He's BJ, I'm James. See you all next week.
Yow.
Hit me with that motion, but there's still no emotion. In a colorful world.